ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome back to Wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1 and we have completed chapter 14, which was entitled The Disappearance of Lord Shri Krishna. So in chapter 14, we saw that Arjuna was sent to Dvārakā by Yudhishthir Maharaj to understand what is the program, what is the plan of Lord Shri Krishna after hearing from Narada Muni that Lord Shri Krishna, once he actually departs from this world, Narad Muni also mentioned that he has completed his mission. So he hinted that he is going to depart. Actually, he had already departed by then. So Arjuna was sent to Dwarka to understand the plans of Krishna. But he does not return for 7 months. So 7 months have passed away since Arjuna had gone to Dwarka and he hasn't returned. And Yudhishthira started seeing various bad omens around him. He saw numerous inauspicious signs in his body, in nature around him, as well as in society. There were natural disturbances which were appearing like irregular seasons. There was environmental imbalance which was there, indicating that there was a decline in dharma. He saw that his citizens' behavior also changed. There was a lot of greed, anger, deceit, hypocrisy, even amongst close relationships that he saw. And the conflict and quarrels were increasing among family members, friends, and communities. And he saw that the threefold miseries like Adhyatmika misery, Adhibhautika misery, and Adhidaivika misery was also intensifying throughout the world. Animals, birds, cosmic signs were exhibiting unusual and fearful behavior. So from all of this, Yudhishthira started reflecting and he started thinking that everything that I have, like whatever I have received till now, all the success, it is like kingdom, victory, prosperity, was only due to Krishna's presence and mercy. And he started doubting in his mind that looks like that the same merciful Lord who has given me everything looks like he has now left from this earthly pastimes. While he is contemplating like this and talking to Bhima like this, at that time Arjuna returns from Dvārakā. And Arjuna is looking very, very dejected. All his luster from his body has vanished, and he's crying, and he is unable to speak. Looking at him and remembering what Narad Muni had mentioned to Yudhishthir Maharaj started thinking, but he was not willing to accept what his mind was telling him. So that is why he started asking a lot of speculative questions to Arjuna. And he asked him various things that why are you dejected? Is it because you were not able to protect someone? Is it because you were defeated by some inferior enemy? And many such questions that he asked. But finally, he asked him the question which was lingering in his mind for a while, that is it because that our merciful Lord and your dear friend, has he left? So the last translation was from the chapter, or is it that you are feeling empty for all time because you might have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Shri Krishna? Oh, my brother Arjuna, I can think of no other reason for your becoming so dejected. So this is where we completed the chapter 14. And this chapter 15 that we are going to start today, is called The Pandavas Retire Timely. The Pandavas Retire Timely. There are 51 verses in this chapter, and let us try to complete this chapter in possibly 2 sessions. So this chapter itself is titled by Srila Prabhupada quite interestingly. He's saying Pandavas retire timely. Most of us don't retire timely. But here, Pandavas are setting a great example in front of us to retire timely. Krishna has retired timely before. Dhritarashtra was not retiring timely, but finally Vidura pushed him and he retired at the end of his life. But Pandavas are setting a perfect example by retiring timely and then passing on the responsibilities, the authority, the power, position, and everything to the next generation. And remember, all of this pastime, like these last few chapters, are being described to come to Parikshit Maharaja's birth and activities. So Parikshit Maharaja's birth was already explained, but his activities, how he became king, is getting explained now. And then afterwards, what happened after he became king, all these activities will be explained. So Pandavas have to retire, like Yudhishthir Maharaj has to retire, and then he has to pass it on to Parikshit Maharaj. So this is where we are heading towards. So Pandavas retire timely. Let us see how the Pandavas retire. So this chapter, the overview of this chapter, it is quite a lot of things on this slide. But basically what happens in this beginning of this chapter is Arjuna starts speaking. But even before he starts speaking, he has this strong feeling of separation from Krishna, so he is not able to speak. But somehow or other, he manages to control his emotions, and then he starts speaking about Lord Krishna, and then he passes on this news to Yudhishthir Maharaj that Lord Shri Krishna has left. And then for many verses, Arjuna remembers the wonderful protection that Lord Shri Krishna had offered to Pandavas. And then after that, he remembers the intimate dealings that he had with Lord Shri Krishna. And he expressed how he's feeling, his heart is feeling complete void because of the absence of Lord Shri Krishna. He also passes on the news of all the Yadu dynasty has been annihilated by the infighting. And then after hearing all of this, before even that, he remembers Lord Shri Krishna's instructions from Bhagavad Gita, and then uses those instructions to become a little bit more peaceful and achieve the transcendence. After hearing all this news, then Yudhishthira Maharaj retires, and behind him, then all the other Pandavas and Draupadi, they also depart, including Kunti and Vidura. So that is how this chapter is going to flow. So we are entering into chapter 15. So Yudhishthira Maharaj has asked lots of questions, and Arjuna is going to speak. But before that, we will see what is his emotions. What are his emotions? Text 1. Suta uvacha evam Krishna sakha Krishno भ्रात्राराज्ञा विकल्पितः नानाशङ्कास्पदं रूपं कृष्णविश्लेषकर्षितः. Okay, we'll go in that sequence. Surananda Prabhu, then Shama Kumari Mataji, Vikas Prabhu, and then Sadashiv Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation. Suta Goswami said, Arjuna, the celebrated friend of Lord Krishna, was grief-stricken because of his strong feeling of separation from Krishna, over and above all Maharaja Yudhishthira's speculative inquiries.
Thank you. So in these first 6 verses, Arjuna's strong feeling of separation are explained. And in this first verse itself, we can see that it is mentioned that Arjuna was Krishna Vishlesha Karshitaha. And Srila Prabhupada is translating that Krishna Vishlesha Karshitaha means Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna. Vishlesha is feeling of separation. And Karshitaha became greatly bereaved. So because of this strong feeling of separation that Arjuna felt towards Lord Shri Krishna, he was greatly bereaved. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in the translation, Maharaja Yudhishthira's speculative inquiries. All they were speculative. So looking at Arjuna, Yudhishthira Maharaj could guess what has happened, as we were discussing earlier in the summary of the chapter 14. But still, his heart was not ready to accept. Hence, he was asking so many other questions, thinking that maybe one of those is why Arjuna is looking so dejected. But in the heart, he knew what would have happened and why he is so grief-stricken. So Arjuna was crying. He was grief-stricken and he was crying. He was practically choking up because of the crying and was not able to speak. Let us see what happens. Second verse. Shokena shushad vadana rutsarojo hataprabha vibhum tamevanusmaran na shaknot pratibhashitum.
Due to grief, Arjun's mouth and lotus-like heart had dried up. Therefore, his body lost all luster. Now, remembering the Supreme Lord, he could hardly utter a word in reply. Hare
Yeah, thank you. So due to grief, Arjuna's mouth and heart had dried up. His body had completely lost his luster. And he was remembering in his heart his dear friend, Krishna. And he was not able to speak even a word in response to so many questions that Yudhishthira Maharaj had asked. And we would have seen, like, when we are in a grief, when some near and dear people close to us pass away, then we are in extreme grief. And especially when we are amongst our near and dear ones, then that grief is felt even more. And our emotions come out through the tears. And at that time, it becomes really, really difficult to even speak anything. So that is what is happening with Arjuna. He is extremely grief-stricken. He's crying, he's wiping his tears, but still his mouth is dried up, his heart is feeling so much void and separation, and he's not able to speak at all. even though so many questions have been asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Text 3. कृष्णेण संस्तभ्य शुचः पाणिनामृज्य नेत्रयोः परोक्षेण समुन्नद्ध प्रणयोत्कण्ठ्यकातरः.
Hare Krishna. With great difficulty, he checked the tears of grief that smeared his eyes. He was very distressed because Lord Krishna was out of his sight, and he increasingly felt affection for him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he was wiping his tears. He was feeling the distress because of the separation, and he knew that Lord Shri Krishna has now is out of sight, and he will never be able to see him in his life. And because of his remembrance of Lord Shri Krishna, his protection, his intimate dealings, his affection for Lord Shri Krishna was increasing. So in separation, especially of the very near and dear ones, the affection grows. And that is why the Vipralamba Bhava, where it is the love in separation, that is considered even more intense than the union, which is called Sambhoga. So Sambhoga and Vipralamba. So this is Arjuna is feeling that. Verse number 4. Sakhyam maitrim savridam cha sarathyadishu samsmaran nrupam agrajamittyaha bashpagadgadaya gira.
Remembering Lord Krishna and his well wishes, benefactions, intimate familial relations, and his chariot driving, Arjuna, overwhelmed and breathing very heavily, began to speak. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So Arjuna is remembering Krishna's various different roles in his life. So it is mentioned Sakhyam, Maitrim, Savridham, Sarathya, Adishu, Sansmaran. So Sakhyam, Maitrim, and Savridham. So these three, they look very similar words, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given the difference between these three. He says Sakhyam is mutual affection and mutual helping each other. So Sakhyam is like what we call friendship. So mutual affection for each other, the friends have mutual affection and they help each other, mutually help each other. But Maitrim is mentioned again. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions Maitrim is Sakhya mixed with Dasya. So when Sakhya and Dasya is mixed, then Maitri comes. And when Sakhya is mixed with Vatsalya, then Savridham comes. So a friend taking the protective feelings of a parent sometime in the friendship, and that times he becomes Savridham. And a friend, when he takes the Dasya and he starts serving the other friend, then it becomes Maitri. So like Krishna became the chariot driver of Arjuna. So that is Maitri. And many times Krishna worried about Arjuna and how to protect him. So that is Savridham. And when he jokingly had a lot of friendly banter between the friends, between like the Arjuna and him, like that kind is Sakhyam. So he had Sakhyam, Maitrim, and Savridham. And Sarathya. Sarathya, where, of course, as we discussed, he became the chariot driver. And Adishu. So he actually performed so many different roles in Pandava's lives. And even with that, Krishna was not satisfied. He wanted more and more. So Krishna even made Arjuna his relative by marrying his sister Subhadra to Arjuna. So even like we can see that Arjuna is quite keen to have various different relationships with Krishna, but we can see Krishna is also very eager for increasing his relationship with Arjuna. And that is what we see that when Balram wanted Subhadra to marry Duryodhan, but he just changed his plan and then organized that uh, Arjuna runs away with Subhadra. So, remembering all of these, he was overwhelmed. Arjuna was overwhelmed. Uh, all these affectionate dealings, and he started breathing heavily. But somehow or the other, he began to speak. Arjuna uvacha vanchitoham maharaja harina bandhurupina yena me pavritam tejo deva vismapanam mahat.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Arjuna said, O king, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Thus my astounding power, which astonished even the demigods, is no longer with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. These two verses are quite amazing. Verse number 5 and 6. So he has finally passed on the news to Yudhishthir Maharaj and all the other people who were assembled there. O king, our Lord Hari, who treated me like an intimate friend, he has left me alone. He has abandoned me. Vanchito. Vanchito means left by him, abandoned by him. So he has left me behind and he is gone. And thus my astounding power, which was even astonishing to devatas, demigods were also very astonished to see my power. That power is also gone with him. And we'll see why he says like this in the next few verses. The purport of this verse is just amazing. We are going to read the entire purport. This is so many things that we can learn from this one purport of Srila Prabhupada. And for all the devotees in our material life, in the spiritual life, there are so many things we can learn from it. And we will elaborate on those. But let us first read the purport. Vishakha Mataji, you are next, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Purport: In the Bhagavad Gita 10.41, the Lord says, anyone specifically powerful and opulent in wealth, strength, beauty, knowledge, and all that is materially desirable is to be considered but a product of an insignificant portion of the complete whole of my energy. No one therefore can be independently powerful in any measure without being endowed by the Lord. When the Lord descends to the earth along with his eternal ever liberated associates, he not only displays the divine energy possessed by himself, but also empowers his associate devotees with the required energy to execute his mission of incarnation. It is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.5 that the Lord and his eternal associates descend to the earth many times, but the Lord remembers all the different roles of incarnations, whereas the associates, by his supreme will, forget them. Similarly, the Lord takes away with him all his associates when he disappears from the earth. The power and energy which were bestowed upon Arjun were required for fulfillment of the mission of the Lord, but when his mission was fulfilled, the emergency powers were withdrawn from Arjun because the astounding powers of Arjun, which were astonishing even to the denizens of heaven, were no longer required, and they were not meant for going back home, back to Godhead. If endowment of powers and withdrawal of powers by the Lord are possible even for a great devotee like Arjun or even the demigods in heaven, then what to speak of the ordinary living beings who are but fixed compared to such great souls? The lesson is, therefore, that no one should be puffed up for his powers borrowed from the Lord. The sane man should rather feel obliged to the Lord for such benefactions and must utilize such power for the service of the Lord. Such power can be withdrawn at any time by the Lord. So, the best use of such power and opulence is to engage them in the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Amazing purport. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that all opulences that we have in our life, like it may be power or beauty or knowledge, wealth, everything comes from Lord Shri Krishna. And no one can be powerful or having any opulence independently without the power that is given by the Lord himself. And when the Lord descends, he comes with his associates. Lord remembers all his appearances, but because we are ordinary jivas, we don't remember all of them. And sometimes when Lord is coming with his associates, he empowers the associates with some specific powers to fulfill his own mission. Like Arjuna was given this immense strength. And his power, his strength is so immense that even devatas are astonished to see that Arjuna is so powerful. But when the mission is fulfilled, such emergency powers were withdrawn from Arjuna. And why it was withdrawn? Because the mission is completed, and now the only thing that is remaining for Arjuna is to go back to Godhead. So for going back to Godhead, all these opulences, all these powers are not required. So those powers are taken back. And Srila Prabhupada concludes, then he's saying that if Lord can withdraw power, even like from the great devotees, pure devotees like Arjuna, then we are just like figs. Figs are very soft fruit. And many times like the figs fall from the tree and people walk over it and it gets smashed very quickly and becomes flattened. So we are like figs. So we are very ordinary as compared to such great devotees. So if power from Arjuna can be withdrawn, then the ordinary jivas like us who are like figs, we can never be proud of our little opulence that we may have. Just like the Lord has given us whatever power, he can withdraw it anytime. All of these powers are borrowed from the Lord. And the best use of such power is to utilize it in Krishna's service, knowing that it can be withdrawn at any time. Right? So just to understand this, why Lord will withdraw such power? Imagine that someone joins like a top company on a contract, say 3-4 months contract for some specific project. He had joined the company. On day one, the company will give him like a high-end laptop, access to different systems, a company email ID, and the company card, access card, authority to make decisions. Everything will be given. And very soon the person may start thinking, I'm so powerful. I control all this. I am the manager of all these people, and I have so much power in my hand. But the reality is, as soon as the project is over and the contract is finished, everything is taken back instantly. The laptop is taken away, which belonged to the company. The access was granted anyway temporarily. The authority was role-based, it is taken away. And the moment you resign or you finish the contract, your email ID stops working, your like the access card stops working. Everything is taken away. So whatever the company resources were given for some specific mission or specific project. And as soon as the mission is over, all of those resources were taken back. And when the resources were allocated, we were supposed to utilize them in company service, our employer service for that specific purpose. If we start utilizing them for our own purpose, then our contract will not get complete. Our contract will be terminated in between. So our powers will be withdrawn sooner than they should last. Similarly, in the devotee circles as well, we can imagine like a temple or the devotee community, there are lots of important services which the devotees are performing, like leading kirtans, managing the temple, giving classes, cooking for the deities, doing like a pujari service, handling donations, projects, or any service that is there. Over a period of time, the devotee starts thinking, this is my service, my service. And all the people around me, they are dependent on me for this service. I'm essential. Without me, this service cannot go on. Isn't it? And we somehow or other start feeling proud. And we get disturbed when we are provided some correction. We think, "Arey, what does he know? I am a pujari for so many years. They should learn how to do it. They are teaching me how to do this." Or any service that we are doing, we feel very disturbed when we get corrected. And we feel insecure as well when somebody else starts doing similar service. Then one day what happens? For whatever reason, the service gets reassigned, or our health doesn't permit continuation of the service, or another devotee is given such a role, or our circumstances change that we move from one place to another, or whatever happens. Suddenly, we see that without us as well, the service is continuing. The temples still run smoothly. Devotional activities still go on nicely. And then the devotee realizes, oh, Krishna's service is going on perfectly without me. So I was not essential. So we should always remember that service is a privilege. Service is a privilege. Sometimes the devotee starts thinking that I am doing some favor to the devotee community by doing some particular service. Actually, that is not the case. Service is a privilege. We sing this every day in Tulsi Aarti. यही निवेदन धरो सखिर अनुगत करो सेवा अधिकार दिए करो निज दासी. So we are requesting seva adhikar. Please give me the privilege to serve you. Please engage me in your service. So it is a privilege, not that we are doing a favor, but Krishna is doing us a favor. The devotees are doing us a favor by engaging us in Krishna's service. So when we understand this, that service is a privilege, then we will have this mood of being an instrument in Krishna's service. And then we will do our service nicely and lovingly as possible. So very, very wonderful purport, and Srila Prabhupada is passing on so much. And we will discuss a little bit more about this in the next learning part. But let us move on to the next verse, and we will come back to this verse 5 little later. Yasya kshanaviyogena loko yah priyadarshanaha uktena rahito yesha mritakah prochate yatha. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have lost him, whose separation for a moment would render all the universes unfavorable and void, like bodies without life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So I lost him, whose separation, even for a moment, if Krishna's association is lost, this entire universe will become void, null and void. It is useless without Krishna. That is that famous example that we quote, that all the things that we have in this material world is like all zeros. When we put Krishna in front of everything, then all of that becomes value. Single zero becomes 10, two zeros become 100, three zeros become 1,000, four zeros become 10,000, like that. So the more material opulence that we have, if we have Krishna in front, then all of that becomes more and more valuable. But if that Krishna is removed from the front, then what is left is all useless things, all zeros. So he gives an example that like bodies without life. So body is useful to us as long as there is life in it. But once the life is gone from this body, we either burn the body or bury it. Similarly, till the Lord is there in our life, everything around us is meaningful, useful, but once he is gone, it is useless, it is void. So it is quite unfavorable after the Lord is gone. Because then, if Lord is not in the center, We will put ourselves in the center, and when in our activities, if we are in the center, then we remain in this material world in the cycle of birth and death. And we want to definitely come out of this cycle of birth and death by putting Krishna in the center. So Arjuna is already feeling like that because he's a pure devotee. He is not like me. So because of that, he can immediately see that, oh, Krishna is gone. My life is now worthless. Whatever activities, whatever all the opulences and everything that I have here is of no use at all without Krishna in my life. Till the time Krishna was there, even though he was not able to see Krishna every day, Krishna was in Dvārakā. And for many years, it is mentioned, I think in one of the lectures I heard, that Yudhishthir Maharaj after the war ruled for 36 years. So 36 years Yudhishthir Maharaj was ruling the kingdom. So obviously, and Krishna was in Dwarka, he was staying there, and they would meet sometime in between, but for most of the time, Arjuna will be in Hastinapur and Krishna will be in Dwarka. So they are not seeing each other, but they understood that Krishna is present. He's there. If required, Krishna, we can call him and he will suddenly appear to protect us. But now that he is gone, Arjuna is feeling that void, that separation from him. So going back to the verse 5, our borrowed powers. We will do a quick exercise on this borrowed powers that we have. So I want each one of you to take a minute, 1 minute, to think about what are the top 3 things that you are proud of or rely on in your life. What are the blessings? What are the special skills or things that which are available in your life? It could be your power, position, relatives, influence, whatever that is there. So think about what are the 3 things that you are proud of or rely on in your life. You have 1 minute. You can note it down. Have you all noted down your top 3 things? Now look at that list that you have prepared, and you start thinking that did I create that ability myself? Any of those, that list that you have, did you create those abilities yourself? Even if some of you may think that, oh, some of these points in the list, I have created these abilities myself, I have developed the skill in myself. Can you actually guarantee that it will remain with you forever? Even if you cannot imagine all of that, have you seen people lose similar abilities suddenly? We start taking things for granted in our life, but suddenly the ability will be taken away. If the ability is taken away from you, then who are you? Like, what is the identity that will be left with when that ability that you rely on, that is taken away? So think about all of that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Can you hear me? Because my internet connection says it is unstable. Am I audible?
Yeah, it is a bit unstable, but I could hear you, yes. Can we just complete this? If there is a question, I will come to it. I have few more questions. Let's complete this exercise and then we'll come to questions, comments. Now, the next question important is all these abilities that, or the things that you mentioned, can you write down or think about, am I using my abilities for Krishna? Or are we using it for my own ego? Now, even if it is something spiritual that you have written, you can still think about it, because many times we use, like in the beginning of our Krishna consciousness, when we are not purified enough, we have lots of anarthas in our heart. Instead of doing material activities, we start doing spiritual activities, but still many times we are in the center. It is not always that as soon as we start doing devotional service, we become all pure devotees, putting Krishna completely in the center. Many times it doesn't happen. So, am I using my abilities for Krishna? And the last question, or it is a suggestion, not a question, you can rewrite those abilities, the three things that you had written, into a way that this is Krishna's energy entrusted to me, and I can use it by dash dash dash. So how can I use, this is Krishna's energy that Krishna has given to me, how can I use it in Krishna's service? So some of you may not be using those three things that you had noted down, the top three things in your life. It could be your leadership ability, your wealth, your position, your influence, your health, your spiritual service, your recognition, abilities, whatever, career, education, whatever you have that you rely on currently. Is there a way that you can use it in Krishna's service? And write it down that this is Krishna's energy entrusted to me, and I can use it by dash dash dash. And that way you can actually start using the borrowed powers from Lord Shri Krishna in Krishna's service. For example, if you have a leadership ability, then you can serve the devotees and guide others. If you have intelligence, then we can understand the various scriptures, simplify them in the current day and age and context, and share the spiritual knowledge. If you are wealthy, I'll send you the bank account number for ISKCON Wellington. We want to build a temple, and then that way we can utilize it. So different ways that we can rewrite our strengths. So this is a simple exercise that we could actually do to think about all the things, all the blessings that we have received. Many times we take them for granted. All our strengths, our blessings, all the things that we rely on, all the things that we are proud of. But this is just a little bit introspection of where did these abilities come from? Did I create them myself? And will they be withdrawn? What if they are withdrawn? How do I feel? And am I using those abilities, those strengths in Krishna's service? And if not, how can I start utilizing them in Krishna's service? Anyone wants to share their realization or any shift in thinking or anything that they want to share in the context of this exercise that we did for our borrowed powers? So those who had their hands up for reading, if they can actually put it down. And when the reading starts, we will go in the same sequence. I think Lochana Harini Mataji, Mahendra Prabhu, and then Vidushi Mataji were hands raised. So now Lochana Harini Mataji. I think we probably have lost her. Vidushi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think the three things I'm most proud of would be the connection that I have with many senior devotees. So I'm really quite, I feel very lucky to have that. And then, of course, family and friends. So I think one way that I can use that in Krishna service too would be to actually listen to them and actually follow their instructions every day, not only the days that it suits me.
Nice, nice. Very good. Thank you for sharing the realization. Yes, the devotee association, especially having association of some Sajatiya Snigdha devotees who are ready to help us, who are having similar desires like us. They are more advanced than us, and they are willing to actually help us to progress in our Krishna consciousness. Such association should be cherished in our life. Without such association, we cannot make progress in our devotional life. But if we listen to their instructions, only then such association is useful. Otherwise, we will hear lots of instructions. It is like going to lots of pharmacies and collecting lots of medicines and putting it on the shelf. So the medicine on the shelf is not useful unless that is taken. So first of all, we should cherish that association and follow such instructions to make our life successful. So wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Vidushi Mataji. Vishakha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I was just relating how we discussed in humility class that be humble before the world or circumstances makes you humble. So I was thinking like as these abilities are not our own, it can be taken away anytime, and then anyway we will become humble. That it's gone. So
Yes.
and the other thing is how Keshav Swami Maharaj says is you should be humble if you are not perfect, and the moment you become like humble, you will be perfect.
Very nice. Wonderful. Hari Hari. Lochana Hari Mataji, your internet is okay now?
I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, very good, very nice exercise. In terms of borrowed powers, I don't think I've got any powers as such. I'd rather rephrase them as blessings. Because I don't.
Okay, we lost her.
So, the last one is this is Krishna's energy entrusted upon me, 100%, and I can use it by doing more devotional service. That's my take. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Shama Kumari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So it was very difficult for me to actually, first of all, write down what abilities do I have. But then I just thought about it, Prabhuji. I thought that I can make good crafts like cakes and other crafts things that I can do with my hands. And then another thing that is given to me by Krishna is that the ability to listen to others and to be compassionate to whatever little extent I can. And of course, the third thing that Krishna has given me is my family, and would love to, I'd love to engage my kids in service and to help my husband in the service, so that he can perform the service. And then when you ask Prabhuji that these abilities, I mean, that's how we are using these abilities in the service of Krishna. But then I was just thinking, say, for example, if one day I'll not be able to make cakes or do any craft work, then what will be my service? I mean, I'm really thinking about it. Like when this service goes away, then what other service can I do to replace this? So I will still contemplate on this provision, and yeah, that's my that's my thoughts that I want to share with you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
I,
So let us look at some lessons from this borrowed powers. Give me a moment. I think my Zoom window is going away. Yeah, now it's back. Okay, I can see you all again. So borrowed powers. So the first lesson that we can learn, as Srila Prabhupada has mentioned here, all abilities are borrowed from the Lord. So nothing is truly mine. Everything material or spiritual that we have, it is coming from the Lord only. The second thing we should understand is power is temporary and conditional. Temporary, just like Arjuna, even the greatest of the devotees can lose everything when Krishna withdraws his energy. So it is temporary, and conditional means it was given for a specific purpose. When that mission is complete, the power can be withdrawn. And most important part is that even if that power is temporary and conditional, the power that is required to go back to Godhead is never withdrawn. That mercy of Krishna is always there. But all of these other material opulences can be withdrawn, which are not required for going back to Godhead. And this is how we can actually use the thinking to change our perspective. Instead of thinking that I am powerful, we have to actually start thinking that I am empowered. When we say I am powerful, we rely and we are actually focusing on I have done this myself. But with this, for the same power, when we are referring to as I am empowered by the Lord or by the devotees, then what happens is our false ego goes away. We realize and acknowledge that we are an instrument of the Lord. And very important is when we actually start thinking like this, that I am empowered, it increases our gratitude and detachment instead of pride. When we say I am powerful, the pride increases. When I say that I am empowered for doing this particular service, then our gratitude increases for the Lord, that the Lord has given me this wonderful ability to serve. And why detachment increases? Because if everything is Krishna's, then the loss of such ability or anything that is there, it is easier to digest because it is Krishna's only. Krishna is going to take it. Just like the example that we were talking about, the company laptop. It is company's laptop. We are not attached to it. We know that company is going to take it. Our employer is going to take it back. So we are in a way detached from that laptop. Similarly, anything and everything that we have, which we rely on, once we understand that this is not owned by us, it is given by the Lord, then we can be detached. So even if we lose it, we will not be very lamenting a lot like that. And the real success of our life is utilizing our abilities in Krishna's service. That was the most important lesson that Srila Prabhupada gave in that purport towards the end. He said, the sane man should rather feel obliged to the Lord for such benefactions and must utilize such power for the service of the Lord. Such power can be withdrawn at any time by the Lord, so the best use of such power and opulence is to engage them in the service of the Lord. So our real success is whatever Krishna has given to us, are we utilizing that in Krishna's service or not? If the answer is yes, we are making our life successful. Okay? So Just always remember this one important line. We are not powerful, we are empowered. And that power is meant for Krishna's service. If we remember this, then our life will become successful. Okay, let's move on. Verse number 7. So from 7 to 17, Arjuna is remembering the favors and the protection that Krishna had offered. And each verse is actually remembering some pastime. Of course, there are so many things in his life where Krishna has helped Pandavas and especially Arjuna. But Arjuna is just remembering some important ones here in these next few verses. Yat samshayad drupadageham गेहमुपागतानां राज्ञा स्वयंवरमुखे स्मरदुर्मदानां तेजोहृतं खलु मया भीतश्चमस्य सज्जीकृतेन धनुषाधिगता च Krishna. Who was in that queue earlier? I think it was Lochana Harini Mataji and then Mahendra Prabhu and then Uma Mataji, Vidushi Mataji, I think.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Only by his merciful strength was I able to vanquish all the lusty princes assembled at the palace of King Drupada for the selection of the bridegroom. With my bow and arrow, I could pierce the fish target and thereby gain the hand of Draupadi. Hare Krishna.
So Draupadi, here Srila Prabhupada explains the pastime and the purport. Draupadi was very beautiful daughter of King Drupada. And Drupada's desire was to marry Draupadi to Arjuna. But as you know, at that point, Duryodhan had tried to burn all the Pandavas and Kunti into Lakshagraha, the house made of lac. And the entire world started thinking that all of these Pandavas have died in that house of lac. But in reality, the Pandavas and Kunti had somehow or the other escaped from there. And in the garb of Brahmanas, they were roaming around. And that is when this Swayamvar of Draupadi was organized. It was organized earlier. So that Swayamvar was organized. And Drupad had put a very difficult condition that anyone who wants to marry Draupadi, they have to pierce the eye of the fish, which was on a rotating disc, and it was also protected by something that it was not, that fish was not always visible. And you can't even look at the fish and aim towards it. You have to actually look in the water pot, the reflection of that fish, and then aim and then pierce the eye of the fish. And that Dhanusha was also not very ordinary. Many people in that Swayamvara, like all these kings and prince who came from various different provinces, many of them were not even able to lift the Dhanusha, the bow. It was so heavy. Forget about then putting an arrow and then shoot it. Karna was able to lift the bow, but Draupadi mentioned that I want to only marry Kshatriya and above. So I don't want to marry anyone below Kshatriya community. And because Karna was considered a Shudra because of his original birth was unknown, and he was looked after by a Shudra family. So he was considered that he was like a Shudra. So Draupadi said that I don't want to marry him. So Pandavas were roaming at that time, and they had also as Brahmanas, they came to this Swayamvar. And when no one was able to, because only Karna was able to do it, and Karna was not allowed to do it, everyone else was either not able to lift the bow or not put like a shoot arrow from that bow. So it looked like that Draupadi was not able to marry anyone. But at that time, and then Arjuna comes forward by Krishna's arrangement. Krishna was also present there. by Krishna's arrangement and by taking blessings from Yudhishthir Maharaj, Arjuna comes forward, easily lifts the bow, and then pierces the eye of the fish. So at that time, all these other princes and the kings who were there, they become very unhappy that they were unsuccessful. Draupadi is so beautiful, and now Draupadi is going to go to this Brahmana. And they started fighting with Drupad and challenged Arjuna, who was in this Brahmana's garb, and they started fighting with him. But Arjuna very easily defeated them and then took Draupadi away. So he is acknowledging that all of this was possible only because of Krishna's merciful strength. Because Krishna had given that strength to him, it was possible. Without that, it was impossible. So he is remembering that he was able to win Draupadi in that Swayamvar only by Krishna's mercy. Next verse. Verse number 8. Yatsannidhavahmukhāndavamagnayedam Indram cha samarganam tarasa vijitya Labdha sabhamaya krutadbhut shilpamaya Digbho haranruta nrupatayo balim dhvarete.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Because he was near me, it was possible for me to conquer with great dexterity the powerful king of heaven Indradeva, along with his demigod associates, and thus enable the fire god to devastate the Khandava forest. The only and only by his grace was the demon named Maya saved from the blazing Khandava forest, and thus we could build our assembly house of wonderful architectural workmanship, where all the princes assembled during the performance of Rajasuya Yajna and paid you tributes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So after Dhritarashtra saw that Pandavas were not killed in the house of Lac and they were welcomed back into Hastinapur, of course, reluctantly he did all of that. And then he thought that how to actually reduce the enmity between the brothers. So he said, let's split the kingdom. One part we can give to Duryodhana and one part we can give to Yudhishthir Maharaj. So actually it is Yudhishthira's kingdom. He is rightful owner. But he is on his behalf. He is saying that, okay, let's split it into two. And on top of that, the good part of the kingdom, which is Hastinapur, he kept for Duryodhan. And the very dense forest, which was almost useless, it was called Khandava Prastha or Khandava Vana, that was given to Yudhishthir Maharaj. So at that time, again, Krishna came forward and helped Yudhishthir Maharaj. He said that let us cut down all this forest, this tree, all the dense forest which is there, and then on that flat land, you can have your kingdom. So at that same time, Agni was having indigestion. So he wanted something to eat, like to devour by the fire. So Krishna thought that, okay, both the things will be achieved. So he asked Agni to come and burn the Khandava forest. But Indra's friend Takshak was staying in that forest. So every time Agni started to burn the forest, Indra will actually shower the rain. And Agni was not able to devour the forest. So at that time, it is mentioned here that because he was near me, it was possible for me to conquer with great dexterity the powerful king of heaven, Indradev, along with the demigods associated, and thus enable the fire god to devastate the Khandava forest. At that time, Arjuna conquered the Indradev. He made the arrangement that all the rain that was coming will not fall on the forest. He created such, by his arrows, the cover on the forest that everyone, like the Agni, was able to devour the forest, and the water which was falling off will just fall off outside of the forest. It will just dried up in the air itself. So that is how he did that, and that is how he conquered on Indra. And because of this, the Agni was able to devour the forest. Maya Danav, one of the demons called Maya, was also staying in that forest. He was a very great architect, and he was able to actually do quite a lot of magical and interesting things. So he, at that time, took shelter of Arjuna, because Kshatriyas, whoever take shelter, they will protect. So Mayadana was protected by Arjuna, even though everyone else within the forest was getting burned down. So because Mayadana was protected by Arjuna, he asked Arjuna that, please ask whatever you want in return for this, and I will give it to you. But Arjuna said that, no, I don't want anything in return. So because you took my shelter, I have just protected you. But Krishna was very happy that Mayadana had taken shelter of his devotee Arjuna. So he decided that I will engage you in service of Yudhishthir Maharaj. He was very skillful, so he said that you can create this palace for Yudhishthir Maharaj on this place. The entire city and the palace was then designed by Mayadana, and that is how it was then came into being. And it was such a one-of-a-kind palace that he produced and created, that all of these people who came at the time of the opening of that opening ceremony was done, everyone was very astonished to see the palace. And the power of Yudhishthir was known to everyone at that time. Srila Prabhupada emphasizes here that in the purport, towards the last 7-8 lines, Srila Prabhupada mentions that devotees are more merciful than the Lord, because the Lord wanted everyone gone in that forest, but Arjuna gave protection to Mayadana. Because he gave protection to Mayadana, that is why Srila Prabhupada is saying that devotees are more merciful than the Lord. And then Srila Prabhupada is saying that in devotional service, mercy of the devotee is more valuable than the mercy of the Lord. So if you want to do some devotional service, then the mercy of the devotee is more valuable than getting the mercy of the Lord. And in the last few lines, last two lines, Srila Prabhupada is saying that by mercy of devotee, you get mercy of the Lord. And by mercy of the Lord, we get the chance to serve the devotees. So both Lord and his devotees' mercy is required. By mercy of the Lord, we get our Guru, and by mercy of the Guru, we get Lord Shri Krishna. So that is how it works. So anyway, so this pastime here, he is remembering that I was able to defeat Indra and protect Mayadana, burn down the Khandava forest, and then get this palace created, all because of Krishna's mercy. Next verse, 9. Yattejasa nrupashirogni mahanmathartham aryo nujastava gajayuta sattvaveryaha tenavhrita pramathanatha makhaya bhupa yanmochitastada nayana balim dvarete.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Your respectable younger brother, who possesses the strength of 10,000 elephants, killed by his grace Jayadratha, whose feet were worshipped by many kings. These kings had been brought for sacrifice in Jayadratha's Jarasandha's Mahabhairava Yajna, but they were thus released. Later, they paid tribute to your majesty.
So here he's remembering how Bhima defeated Jarasandha, and his entire story, how he was born into two parts, like Jarasandha was born into two parts, and then a demoness called Jara, she brought these two parts together, and then this child became with life, because otherwise these two parts were lifeless, and that's why their two parts were thrown away in the jungle. But this demoness called Jara brought these two parts together. The child becomes alive, and the child was brought back to the king. And then the king, to acknowledge Jara's contribution to bringing this child to the life, that is why he was named as Jarasandha. So the child who was joined by Jara. And this Jarasandha was quite powerful, and Bhima finally defeated him, and Krishna had to actually give him the idea how to kill, because the war between Bhima and Jarasandha lasted for many, many days. And no matter what Bhima was doing, Jarasandha was not getting killed. Even if he actually kills him, he will finally get again joined up together and then was still alive and fighting. So fine, at that time, Krishna gave the idea that because he was joined from the hip like that, the two parts, he should split him there and throw in different directions, and only then he will be killed. And that is how Bhima then finally killed Jarasandha. And Jarasandha was the worshipper of Mahabhairava, and he was very powerful. So he had actually won over many kings and prince, and all of them he had put together into his prison, and he was going to kill them as an offering to Mahabhairava in the yajna. But because Bhima came and killed Jarasandha, all of these kings were freed, and seeing that Bhima is like a younger brother of Yudhishthir, then they took shelter of Yudhishthir Maharaj, and they paid obeisances to Yudhishthir Maharaj. That is what, in a very brief, this pastime is mentioned here. Next verse. Let us directly read the translation now. Verse number 10. Parminder.
It was he who loosened the hair of all wives of the Mercitan to dare open the cluster of your queen's hair, which has been nicely dressed and sanctified from the great Rajsurya sacrificial ceremony. At that time, she fell down at the feet of Lord Krishna with tears in her eyes. Hare Krishna.
So here, how Draupadi was offended is mentioned, and how those who offended Draupadi, how they were killed by Lord Shri Krishna's arrangement, and then those people's wives become widows, and then they had to loosen their hairs. So that is what is mentioned here. Again, that pastime is well known, so we will not spend a lot of time here. Very important point in the purport. Srila Prabhupada is saying, the Lord can tolerate insults upon himself by any miscreant, because the father tolerates even insults from the son. But he never tolerates insults upon his devotees. By insulting great souls, one has to forego all the results of pious acts and benedictions also. So Lord will tolerate any insults towards him, but he will not tolerate the insults done to his devotees. So we have to be very careful. We should never do Vaishnava Aparadha. Next verse, 11th. Durvasa Muni's pastime. Yeah, Bhageshwari Mata.
During our exile, Durvasa Muni, who eats with his 10,000 disciples, intrigued with our enemies to put us in dangerous trouble. At that time, he, Lord Krishna, simply by accepting the remnants of food, saved us. By his accepting food thus, the assembly of Munis, while bathing in the river, felt sumptuously fed, and all the three worlds were also satisfied.
Very wonderful pastime. Durvasa Muni's story is known to everyone as well. That how Durvasa Muni is considered. Srila Prabhupada gives this story as well as a little bit background of Durvasa Muni on this long purport, that he's considered the plenary incarnation of Lord Shiva. And just like Lord Shiva, who's easily pleased and he can get easily annoyed, Durvasa Muni is also similar. He can easily get pleased and he can as easily get unhappy. And if he becomes unhappy, Durvasa Muni immediately curses. So once when he went to meet Duryodhan in Hastinapur, after all the Pandavas and along with Draupadi, they were exiled. So he was very careful. Duryodhana was very careful in serving the Brahmanas. And he made sure that all the 10,000 disciples were well taken care of for Durvasa Muni, and they were well fed. And Durvasa Muni was very pleased by the service. And he wanted to give some benediction, some blessings to Duryodhana. Duryodhana wanted to use this blessing as a curse on Yudhishthir Maharaj and all the other Pandavas. He was thinking that, okay, let us do something by which this blessing can turn a curse to my other brothers, Pandavas. So he said very diplomatically, saying that you are here, you have given me your association, but my brother is in forest, so I want you to also give him the blessing. So please go there. But because they are in the forest, make sure that you go after they have eaten. Otherwise, they will remain hungry. So he knew very well that Draupadi had this Akshay Patra, or a pot which was given by Sun God. From that, you can get as much food as possible. Even 10,000 people can be fed through it. But once Draupadi has eaten, after all the other people have eaten, then that's it. After that, there will nothing that will come out of it till the next meal. So it was not possible to. He understood that if Draupadi has eaten and after that Durvasa Muni goes, then definitely Durvasa Muni will be unhappy that he is not taken care of and he will curse. So that was his plan. But as we all know, when Durvasa Muni and everyone went there, Yudhishthir Maharaj said that, okay, you go to the river and take bath, and in the meantime, we'll prepare something. And Draupadi only remembered one thing. She said that, how can I actually now feed these 10,000 people? So he just remembered Krishna. Krishna left Rukmini and immediately appeared there. And the first thing he says that, give me something to eat. And she says that, oh, I have nothing. He says that, okay, bring the pot. And here it is said, Shakanna Shishtamupayujyayatastrilokim. Third line. Shaka Anna. So Shaka means some leafy vegetable and some anna, some rice was there on the edge of the pot. Good that the pot was not washed properly. So there was something which was there, and Krishna just took that part, some Shaka and some anna. It is said Shishtam. That means some remaining little bit here that was remaining, remnant in that pot. He took and he ate. Now understand, all the Pandavas have eaten, Draupadi has also eaten, and then what was remaining? So it was a Maha Prasad of that Krishna had to eat. And after eating that, Krishna was pleased. Krishna was satisfied. And when Krishna is satisfied, all these 10,000 guests were also satisfied. And then they did not even return because they thought that, okay, Yudhishthira Maharaj would have prepared so much food, and if I don't eat, then I will have to get another problem, just like from Ambarish Maharaj, another pure devotee that he faced, Durvasa Muni faced. So he did not want to land in the similar problem, so they all ran away from there. Srila Prabhupada says here, this incident proves, this is the last paragraph. Someone can read the last one. This incident proves.
This incident proves that the Lord is greatest mystic, and therefore he is known as Yogeshwara. Another instruction is that every householder must offer food to the Lord, and the result will be that everyone, even a company of guests numbering 10,000, will be satisfied because of the Lord's being satisfied. That is why that is the way of devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So by giving food, offering food to Lord Shri Krishna, everyone in the world gets satisfied. That is why it is the duty of every householder to offer the bhoga to the Supreme Lord every day. And that is what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, and we can learn from this. So Arjuna is remembering that how Lord Shri Krishna saved them from the anger of Durvasa Muni. So many interesting things that he's remembering, that how Draupadi was saved, how Durvasa Muni's anger where they saved. Let us see some more cases like that. Verse number 12. Who's next? Who wants to read next? Okay, Vidushi Mataji, go ahead.
It was by his influence only that in a fight I was able to astonish the personality of God, Lord Shiva, and his wife, the daughter of Mount Himalaya. Thus he, Lord Shiva, became pleased with me and awarded me his own weapon. Other demigods also delivered their respective weapons to me, and in addition, I was able to reach the heavenly planets in this present body and was allowed a half-elevated seat.
Yeah. So here he's remembering how his archery, the skill that was given by Krishna to him, with that he actually fought with Lord Shiva as well. Of course, Lord Shiva was just testing Arjuna, and he came in disguise. Otherwise, if he would have come as Lord Shiva, Arjuna wouldn't have fought with him. But he just came as a hunter, and they were both like shooting a pig. And Lord Shiva said that this is, I have shot this. And Arjuna said, no, I have shot this. And that is how then they started fighting with each other. And then Arjuna fought with Lord Shiva very valiantly. And she was very astonished that how Arjuna is so powerful and he is able to last against me. It was not that Arjuna was able to defeat Lord Shiva or anything, but Lord Shiva was very pleased that Arjuna was so powerful and he was so dexterous and he was so blessed. And finally, Arjuna understood that this personality is not an ordinary person. An ordinary hunter wouldn't be able to fight with Arjuna. So he understood that he is a special personality, and he asked to reveal that who he was. And then Lord Shiva was pleased with him and gave darshan along with Parvati to him. So at that time, Lord Shiva offered him his own weapon called Pashupatasra to Arjuna. And then other devatas also were actually seeing all this fight, and they were also very pleased with Arjuna and gave their own respective weapons to Arjuna. So Arjuna was able to then, at that same time, after that, he was able to travel to Svargaloka. And in the same body, it is not possible to actually go in the same body to Svargaloka, but he was able to go. And there, Indra gave him a half elevated seat. So he was just below Indra Dev. All the other devatas were at the lower level. Only above him, his seat was Indra's seat. So he was given such a high seat in his assembly. So he's remembering all of that, that not only I astonished Shiva, I got the weapon from Lord Shiva, other devatas, I was able to go to Svargaloka in the same body, and I was given the half elevated seat. How is that possible without your mercy on me, like Lord Krishna's mercy? Verse number 13. Next one.
It was by his influence only that in fight I was able to astonish the personality of God Lord Shiva and his wife, the daughter of Mount Himalaya.
We read that.
Sorry. Okay, when I stayed for some days as a guest in the heavenly planets, all the heavenly demigods, including King Indradeva, took shelter of my arms, which were marked with the Gandiva bow, to kill the demon named Nivataka Vacha. O King, descendant of Ajamida, at the present moment I am bereft of Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose influence I was so powerful. Thank you.
Yeah. So he's remembering again further that when I was in Svargaloka, the devatas took shelter of my arms. Now this is amazing. Devatas are very powerful. They are supposed to be much more intelligent, much more powerful, much more resourceful than the human beings like Arjuna. But when Arjuna was in Svargaloka, they actually took shelter of his strength, his arms. And then he asked help from Arjuna to kill a demon called Nivata Kavacha. So Nivata Kavacha's little bit story comes in the 6th canto. It is mentioned that Vaishwanara had 4, like Daksha, how he created the progeny is mentioned there. And in that it is mentioned in the 6th canto that Vaishwanara had 4 daughters, and out of them the 2 were called Puloma and Kalaka. And they were married to the sage Kashyapa. Kashyapa Rishi who married these 2. And from them, Kashyapa got 60,000 sons. 60,000 sons. And they were headed by, like, the most strong amongst the 60,000 was called Nivata Kavacha. So they were physically, all the 60,000 sons who were headed by Nivata Kavacha, they were very, very strong. They had very physically strong body, and they were expert in fighting. But the problem was their only aim was to disturb the sacrifices performed by the sages. So they were demons, unfortunately. So Indra actually took then Arjuna's help to kill Nivata Kavacha and the 60,000 sons. Then the next verse talks about the Virata Yuddha.
The military strength of the Kauravas was like an ocean in which there dwelt many invincible existences, and thus it was insurmountable. But because of his friendship, I, seated on the chariot, was able to cross over it. And only by his grace was I able to regain the cows and also collect by force many helmets of the kings, which were bedecked with jewels that were sources of all brilliance.
Yeah. So here in the Virat Yuddha, so after the 13th year of exile, which was supposed to be incognito. So at the end of it, Duryodhana somehow or the other was trying to steal all the cows from Virat, King Virat. So at that time, Arjuna single-handedly, alone, he fought with the Kaurava, entire Kaurava army. And here it is mentioned that this army was like an ocean. Like there were thousands and thousands, lakhs of people Duryodhana had brought, and including the warriors like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Kripa, so many warriors, and Duryodhana, Dushasan themselves, Karna, everyone was there. But Arjuna fought alone. Imagine, like there are lakhs of people, including all these powerful warriors, and there is, on the other side, there is only one chariot, and there is only one fighter on it. And he is fighting against everyone, and he defeated everyone. And not only he was successful in then free the cows from Duryodhana's army and bring them back, but he also defeated all of them, and all the helmets which were having lots of jewels. So all those helmets as well, he brought it back. It was like an insult to a warrior when his helmet is taken away from someone. So the enemy came so close to him and took the helmet. Of course, he would have cut the head as well. But of course, Arjuna did not do that, and he should have done that. So the Mahabharata war wouldn't have happened afterwards. But anyway, so that is what he did. So he said that it is only possible by Krishna's grace. So without that, it was not possible. Then he talks about now Mahabharata war. Next, Amendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It was he only who withdrew the duration of life for everyone, and who in the battlefield withdrew the speculative power and strength of enthusiasm from the great military parallax made by the Kauravas, headed by Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Shalya, etc. Their arrangement was expert and more than adequate, but he, Lord Shri Krishna, while going forward, did all this. Hare Krishna.
So in Kurukshetra war, it was Lord. It is mentioned here that Lord withdrew the duration of life for Kaurava army. Lord can, Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport, he can increase or decrease the duration of life of living beings. And before that, he is quoting, Srila Prabhupada is quoting the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, very famous verse. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritirjnana apohanam cha vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta krutveda vidaiva chaham. He is mentioning that he directs everyone in the matter of recollection, forgetfulness, knowledge, the absence of intelligence, and all psychological activities. So everything comes from the Lord. And that is why he was able to decrease the duration of Kaurava's army. Not only that, he also took away the enthusiasm of the Kaurava army and the speculative power. Like the power of the mind by which you can organize the army properly, think about various different strategies to defeat the enemies. And it is mentioned further that their arrangement was expert because they were big warriors like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Kripa, Duryodhan, Dushasana, so many others. They were there and they were quite expert. And their arrangement was more than adequate. They had bigger army, bigger warrior than Arjuna's side. Still, they were defeated. How is that possible? It is possible only because Krishna was on Arjuna's side. So he's remembering all of that it was possible. Next two verses also talks about Kurukshetra war only. Next one. Surananda Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Great generals like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, Shushrama, Salya, Jayadratha, and Bahilika all directed their invincible weapons against me, but by his Lord Krishna's grace, they could not even touch a hair on my head. Similarly, Prahlada Maharaja, the supreme devotee of Lord Nrsimhadeva, was unaffected by the weapons the demons used against him.
So he's remembering Lord Nrsimhadev protected Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada is quoting his story very briefly. He's saying that Hiranyakashipu tried so many things to, he threw Prahlad Maharaj in fire, in boiling oil, then from top of the hill, underneath the legs of an elephant. He even administered poison to him. But Prahlad Maharaj was protected by Lord Nrsimhadev in each and every case. And finally, when Hiranyakashipu took on himself to kill Prahlad Maharaj, then Nrsimhadev appeared himself, fought with Hiranyakashipu and killed him, and thus protected Prahlad Maharaj. So he's remembering a similar thing, that just like Nrsimhadev protected Prahlad Maharaj, Lord Shri Krishna protected me on the battlefield when all these great Maharathis, they were throwing their weapons onto me, like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, Susarma, Shalya, Jayadrat, and Bahalika. All were Maharathis. They were throwing the weapons and big astras onto Arjuna. But Arjuna says that they couldn't even touch a hair on my head. In Hindi, they say, "Mera baal bhi baka nahi kar paya." So similarly, it is mentioned here. So Krishna was protecting, and we saw in the previous chapters where Bhishma Dev was talking about how his arrows were piercing Krishna's body. But here Arjuna is saying that they were not even able to touch Arjuna's hair. So Arjuna was protected from the arrows. His hair was also not touched because all of those arrows were taken by Lord Shri Krishna himself to protect to protect his devotee Arjuna. That's why he's Bhakta Vatsala. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about all these people who are talked about, like mentioned here, Karna. Their brief life history is given. Bhurishrava, Trigarta, and Jayadratha, all of them. If you are interested in their stories, their life histories, then you can just read the purport. Next verse, 17th. Vishakha Mataji.
It was by his mercy only that my enemies neglected to kill me when I descended from my chariot to get water for my thirsty horses, and it was due to my lack of esteem for my Lord that I dared engage him as my chariot driver, for he is worshipped and offered services by the best man to attain salvation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So my enemies neglected. So this is about Jayadratha has been mentioned here. So Jayadratha helped in stopping all the Pandavas when 7 Maharathis were coming together to kill Abhimanyu. So when Arjuna understood it, he took a vow to kill Jayadratha the next day. So Jayadratha wanted to run away from the battlefield, but somehow or the other, the Kauravas asked him to not be cowardly, and they said that we'll protect you, but you remain at the back of our army. So Arjuna had to actually traverse that entire army during the day, like in one whole day, he had to actually traverse that entire army, and all these big Maharathis were wanting to stop him because he had taken a vow that if I don't kill Jayadratha today, then I will enter the fire. So they thought that once his vow is not fulfilled, like Jayadratha is not killed somehow or the other in few hours, then Arjuna will be gone and this war will be lost by Pandavas and we can easily win it. So they did all the strategy to protect Jayadratha on that day. So while that was happening, at a point in time, Krishna said that we have to stop the chariot. He said, why? He said, you want to actually go and kill Jayadratha, but horses are now tired, they are thirsty. So let us give them some food and give them some water, and then we will continue. So Arjuna actually get down from the chariot, and using his arrow, he pierced the surface of the earth and got water. And then that water was given to, like, Krishna attended to these horses. But seeing that Krishna was not on the chariot, all the enemies attacked him, thinking that it is now he's an easy target because Krishna was protecting him and maneuvering his chariot in a way that he will be safe. But now the chariot was stopped. He was not on the chariot. Krishna was looking after the horses. So they thought, let us attack from all directions and then kill him. And Arjuna fought from the off the chariot with all these different warriors who were on the chariot, and still was able to protect his chariot, horses, as well as Lord Shri Krishna and himself. But it was obviously his remembering that it is because of Krishna's mercy only. And he is now thinking that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, whom everyone worships for getting moksha, for getting liberation, such Supreme Personality of Godhead, I actually utilized him, engaged him as my chariot driver. So he's thinking, how foolish of me to do this. He's saying it was due to my lack of esteem for my Lord that I did not actually respect him properly. And because of that lack of esteem, I was utilizing or engaging him as a chariot driver. From the next few verses, now he talks about his intimate pastimes close pastimes as a friend with Krishna. Verse number 18. Narmanya udara ruchira smita shobhitani he parthe arjuna sakhe kurunandaneti sanjalpitani naradeva hridisprashani Smarturluthanti hridayam mama madhavasya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. O king, he jokingly and frank talks were pleasing and beautifully decorated with smiles. His addresses unto me as O son of Pratha, O friend, O son of Guru dynasty, and all such heartiness are now remembered by me, and thus I am overwhelmed. Hare Krishna.
So Arjuna is saying, I remembered his frank talks, joking. They were very pleasing to me. And along with that, whenever we are having this frank talks with or joking conversations with the Lord, he always had this beautiful smile on his face. And sometimes he addressed me as Hey Partha, Hey Arjuna, Hey Sakhe, Hey Kurunandana. So, and all such heartiness are now he is remembering, and thus he is getting overwhelmed. Then further friendly dealings in the next verse, 19th verse. शय्यासनाटन विकथन भोजनादिश ऐक्याद्वयस्य हृतवानिति विप्रलब्धा सख्यु सखेव पितृवतन्नयस्य सर्वं सेहे महान् महितया कुमतेर्घम्ने श्रीनिवास
Translation. Generally, both of us used to live together and sleep, sit, and litter together. And at the time of advertising oneself for act of chivalry, sometimes, if there were any irregularity, I used to approach him by saying, "My friend, you are very truthful." Even in those hours when his value was minimized, he, being the Supreme Soul, used to tolerate all those utterings of mine, excusing me exactly as a true friend excuses his true friend, or a father excuses his son. Thank you.
So he's remembering these dealings. Sometimes they will used to sit together, they will sleep together, they will live together, they will loiter together, they will just like friends. Two friends are spending time with each other. And while doing that, sometimes Lord Shri Krishna will say that I did like this. He will sometimes exaggerate some of his chivalry acts. And Arjuna, at that time, understanding that he's exaggerating, he's saying more than what he did, he will say, "Oh, my friend, you are very truthful." So at that time, he's of course sarcastically mentioned to Krishna that, hey, you did not do like this, but now you are increasing and saying like this. So to in a roundabout way, he's saying that, oh Lord, no, sorry, not Lord, oh my friend, you are very, very truthful. So even at that time, when Arjuna is trying to minimize the value of Krishna, Arjuna is remembering that Lord Shri Krishna still tolerated. He still tolerated me, he still excused me, just like a true friend will tolerate another true friend, and a father excuses his son. Srila Prabhupada mentions here in the purport, very brief purport, the last line, he says that the Lord relishes the reproaches of friends, parents, or fiancés more than the Vedic hymns offered to him by great learned scholars and religionists in an official fashion. So, such reproaching words by his friends or his lovers or by his parents, Krishna finds them more pleasing to his heart than the Vedic hymns by some scholars. So, he enjoys the relationship, close relationships with his devotees. Verse number 20. Who's next?
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna Prabhuji, O Emperor, now I am separated from my friend and the dearmost well-wisher, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore my heart appears to be void of everything. In his absence, I have been defeated by a number of infidel cowherd men while I was guarding the bodies of all the wives of Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So here he's now saying that why he was saying that all his power has been lost. So after Krishna has left this world, as per Krishna's instruction, Arjuna was taking all his queens back to Hastinapur to give them protection. But while they were on the way, some bandits, some cowherd people, they attacked Arjuna and defeated Arjuna. Can you imagine this? Arjuna, who single-handedly, he fought with the entire Kaurava army with all these Maharathis in it and defeated them, and now he got defeated by these great people. Sorry, these ordinary cowherd people. So that is why he is saying that all my power is now lost. That I was not able to protect the queens, the wives of Krishna. In his absence, I was just defeated by them. And just to understand this pastime, how can Arjuna get defeated by these cowherd people? So Srila Prabhupada is quoting this pastime, which is given like more details are given in Vishnu Puran and Brahma Puran. So let us understand, because these are quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur for our benefit to make us understand why this happened. So let us read that entire purport. It gives a story, quick story. Surananda Prabhu.
The important point in this verse is that it was possible that Arjuna could be defeated by a gang of ignoble coward men, and how such mundane coward men could touch the bodies of the wives of Lord Krishna, who were under the protection of Arjuna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura has justified the contradiction by research in the Vishnu Purana and Brahma Purana. In these Puranas, it is said that once the fair denizens of heaven pleased Ashtavakra Muni by their service and were blessed by the Muni to have the Supreme Lord as their husband. Ashtavakra Muni was curved in 8 joints of his body, and thus he used to move in a particular curved manner. The daughters of the demigods could not check their laughter upon seeing the movements of the Muni, and the Muni, being angry at them, cursed them that they would be kidnapped by rogues, even if they would get the Lord as their husband. Later on, the girls again satisfied the Muni by their prayers, and the Muni blessed them that they would regain their husband even after being robbed by the rogues. So, in order to keep the words of the great Muni, the Lord himself kidnapped his wives from the protection of Arjuna. Otherwise, they would have at once vanished from the scene as soon as they were touched by the rogues. Besides that, some of the gopis who prayed to become wives of the Lord returned to their respective positions after their desire was fulfilled. After the departure of Lord Krishna, he wanted all his entourage back to Godhead, and they were called back under different conditions only. Hare Krishna.
So very nicely explained here that how these girls actually they pleased Ashtavakra Muni, and that is why they were given a blessing that they will get the Lord as the husband. When they laughed at him, he cursed that they will be even if Lord is your husband, you will be kidnapped by some rogues. But then again, they offered prayers to pacify him, and he said, "Okay, fine. Even if that happens, even if you're robbed by the rogues, you will regain your husband." So Lord Shri Krishna only organized that he came in the form of cowherd boys, these cowherd people, and then fought with Arjuna, defeated him, and took his wives, and that is how the wives came back to Lord Shri Krishna. And finally, in the end, Srila Prabhupada is saying that Lord Shri Krishna has gone, and all his associates also wants to go with him. So this way or that way, they will find a way to actually go back to Godhead. So that is how some of these wives of Krishna and some of the gopis, they went back to him. So let's go to verse number 21. It is a famous verse. Tadvay dhanusta ishvasarato hayaste soham rathi nupatayo yat anamanti sarvam kshanena tadbhud sadishariktam bhasman hutam kuhakaradva kura Bhasman hutam karadvami vopta musham. Tongue twister.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Translation.
Yeah, go ahead, Parminder.
I
Then
have
you can do the next one.
I have the very same Gandhi bows, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same Arjuna, to whom all the kings offer their due respect. But in absence of the Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment notice, have become null and void. This is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with magic wand, or sowing seeds on barren land. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So I am the same Arjuna. Arjuna is saying, I am the same Arjuna. I have the same Gandiva bow. I have the same arrows. I have the same chariot and same horses. But without Krishna, everything has become null and void. And how? It is giving 3 examples. Offering ghee into ashes. Like if it is fire that is going on, and if there is a firewood that is there, then if you put if you put ghee onto it, then the fire will become bigger and bigger. But no matter how much ghee you put into ashes, the fire is not going to be rekindled, because now the fire energy from the wood is gone and it has already turned into ashes. Then obtaining money by magic. So when some magician will come and they will produce some money out of the hat, but is their own money, they are just doing a trick, and then that is how their money is they are bringing out from the hat. So no matter how much money they bring from the hat, is their money going to grow? No, it is the same money. So it is like obtaining money by magic or sowing seeds on a barren land. So it is not going to turn into a tree. So similarly, he's saying that that life force, that energy which was making everything happen possible, was Lord Shri Krishna. And now, as soon as Lord Shri Krishna is gone, everything else which is still present, same me, same Gandiva, same chariot, same horses, same bow and arrow, but still I got defeated. So we can actually remember our earlier exercise where we talked about the borrowed powers, and the power is given by Krishna, and Krishna will take it away. He will withdraw it sometimes. Similarly, service we should understand as devotee, the service is given to us by someone. And if we do not behave properly or whatever, for some reason, at a particular time, it is possible that the service will be taken away. It is a privilege that we have. It is not that it is going to remain with us for the whole of our life, no matter what we do. So that's the lesson that we can learn. Always remember that we are empowered, not saying that I am powerful. And that is how we can utilize our powers, our blessings, our strengths in Krishna's service. 22 and 23. Yeah, here in the next 2 verses, Arjuna is explaining how the other Dvārakā were killed. Let's go and read the translation.
O king, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dvārakā, I will inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmanas, and as a result, they all became intoxicated with wine made of putrefied rice and fought among themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone. Hare Krishna.
So because Yudhishthir had initially asked that how's Krishna, how's everyone, how are the Yadus? So now he is explaining to Yudhishthir Maharaj what happened to the remaining Yadus. Lord Shri Krishna is gone, but before that, all the friends and our friends and relatives in Dwarka are also gone. So he explains that, and this pastime we will see in Canto 11. in chapter 1 and chapter 30, it is mentioned that by Krishna's arrangement, there were many great sages headed by Narada, Vishwamitra. They were assembled at the holy place named Pindaraka, near the city of Dvārakā. So at that time, some of these young boys of the Yadu family, they were mischievous and they wanted to do some fun. So what they did, one of the boys, Samba, the boys, what they did was they dressed Samba like a pregnant woman, and they took him to all these sages and inquired from the sages about what will this Samba or like this um, pregnant woman is going to give birth to, a boy or a girl. So the sages understood that they are mocking us. So the sages became angry and they cursed these mocking boys. And they said that she will give birth to a club that will destroy your entire dynasty, entire family. When they heard these curse, they got frightened and they ran towards when they heard this curse, they immediately lifted the garment from Samba's abdomen and they found really a club which was there. So they took the club to Maharaj Ugrasen and explained to him what had happened. Ugrasen immediately ordered that the club be ground to powder and then thrown into the ocean. And that is how he thought that, okay, we will somehow or the other get rid of the curse. But within the ocean, what happened was with the waves, this grounded powder came to the shore and it got implanted and then eventually grew into the grooves of canes, bamboo. And then over a period of time, when Krishna saw and understood that this curse was there, and of course it was his arrangement only, he said that let us all go to Prabhas Kshetra. And he asked all the Yadus to go there and we can take the holy bath and then purified from the curses of the Brahmana. So at that place, after the festivities of the worship and everything, all the Yadu family, all these people, they drank this rice wine and they became intoxicated. And they became so intoxicated that they lost all their intelligence and they quarreled amongst themselves. And in that quarrel, they actually took all this bamboo, the canes, which were on the shore of the ocean, and they start fighting with those sticks with each other. And then they killed one another. They did not even recognize each other. And out of that, like all this entire Yadu family, which were lakhs of people, they all got killed except for 4 or 5. So that is what is mentioned here. So except for this 4 or 5, all of them are dead and gone. It was Krishna's arrangement. From the perspective, we already saw that Krishna wanted all his associates to go back with him. He was finishing his pastime. He wanted everyone to go back. The other point was that all these great kings, big kings, were killed in the war of Kurukshetra. But still, the Yadu family was undefeatable, and that was still there. And it was a huge family, lakhs of people. So after Krishna is gone, he wanted this to be also gone. So he organized in such a way that this curse came, and then through that curse, he finished the Yadu dynasty, except for few. And we will see that further. I think we will pause here. It is almost 11, 1 minute to go. So we'll see any summary points, reflections, comments, questions at this point. Hare Krishna. Mahendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Obviously, the key takeaway today is I'm not empowered. I'm not Powerful, I am
Powerful.
empowered. Yeah,
Amen.
yes, that's the key takeaway. And what I liked, Prabhuji, is today's this whole class. I was thinking about it right from the start. It's just passing on one news about Lord Krishna, but the glorification which came after passing on that news, it's amazing. It's not just the news, but it's about whom that news is about, right? So the glorification, it's amazing to, summarize line by line, right from the start in proper sequence. So I really like that, Prabhuji. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
So Arjuna is not only remembering the Supreme Lord and just gave the news, but he has so much gratitude. He has so much love for Lord Shri Krishna. So automatically these all these glories are coming out of his mouth. Of course, Yudhishthir Maharaj knows all of that, right? It is not that he's telling something new to Yudhishthir Maharaj, but it is automatically coming out of his heart that the gratitude, it is overflowing. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Amendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for another wonderful lecture. The key takeaway for me was that all the service we get from the Lord is a privilege, and even to do that service, all the strength, all the intelligence, all the means that we're able to get, that comes from Him as well. So
Absolutely.
that was a key thing. One question, Prabhuji, it is said that Arjuna was defeated by all those people who were not even qualified Kshatriyas. So it's said the Lord Himself took form of it in one of the verses. So maybe that might be one of the reasons that Arjuna
Yeah,
might
that's
have.
correct, Prabhuji. So that is what, like initially it is difficult to understand without understanding the context which is given from Vishnu Puran and I think which was Brahma Puran. Yeah, Brahma Puran and Vishnu Puran. But once we understand that if the Lord comes as cowherd boy, then he can defeat anyone, including Arjuna. He's the source of the power of Arjuna. So no matter how much power Arjuna has, he can still defeat Arjuna.
Last thing, Prabhuji, really liked the bhava of Arjuna, that he and the rest of the Pandavas, that everything happened in their life, good or bad, they take it in a positive way, and all the wins they had, they dedicated it to the Lord, which I believe was again the true strength from which they were able to overcome such invincible
Absolutely, Prabhu. Yeah,
enemies.
very good point. So always remembered Krishna when something good is happening in their life, and always sought protection from Krishna when there's something challenging happening in their life, but not blaming Krishna for it. Yeah, nice. Lochana Harini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Like always, wonderful session, and I quite like few things, which has been covered already. So number one is service as a privilege, which is very important mindset which we have to remember, and obviously always feel that you are empowered, not powerful, which is something to take home. I've got a couple of questions, so is it okay if I ask them in a row, or you want me to ask first and then
Yeah,
let
let's
others?
take one. Yeah.
Okay. So Prabhuji, from text number 5. Sorry, I'll just jump to the window. Text number 5, you were emphasizing very nicely about services. My question on services is obviously service is a privilege, but let's say if somebody is aspiring for more services, first question is it good to aspire for more services? Second, if we do so, what should be our mood in aspiring for more services or bigger services, or if that makes sense, Roji?
Yeah. So yes, definitely we should aspire for more and more service, because that is what we are, the message that we are passing on to Krishna when we are chanting that please engage me in your service, please engage me in your service, please engage me in your service. So definitely we should ask for more and more service. And no service is big or small. So any service that comes our way, we should take it. We should not be waiting for a specific service that I will just take when that service comes, then I'll take it. Because we may have our own plans that I will do this service and it will be good. But of course, the devotees, they will allocate the service as per our capabilities and whatever is good for us. So our mood should be that whatever service comes our way, take it. and then do best in that service. In our congregation itself, there are so many examples that any simple service as well, the devotees, some of the devotees, they have taken and they have developed that service into such a wonderful um, opportunity to grow in that service as well as make that service perfect. So we can always look at those examples and uh, we can think that, okay, we have to think many times out of the box. We are always thinking that, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. So our mood should be, okay, I'll take whatever service that comes my way. And once the service comes, see how we can actually provide best in that service. And we have to learn many times. We have to learn from others who are doing that services. And if there are no one else who's doing that services, develop that further ourselves and provide the best service that we can do to Lord Shri Krishna. So everything that we have to offer it to Krishna. So that is what a few things which are coming to my mind at this point.
Sure. Makes sense, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Okay. Uma Mataji, Vidushi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The exercise you made us do today is really, really helpful, especially for me because I'm losing all, like one by one, I retired. I lost my father's strength, which was a real pride for me. Then children were my pride, and I retired. And with my daughter also, I'm retired, like because she's somebody else's responsibility. And now I must, as you said, I must educate myself, which I did not get time to do. So educate myself by reading and by chanting properly and devoting whatever I can do now in the rest of my life to Krishna.
Yes, definitely, Mataji.
Prabhuji,
So all those blessings, all those strengths were given to you, but now they are withdrawn. Some strengths are still remaining sitting next to you, I can see, but still I'm saying that that will get withdrawn anytime when the visa comes, right? So you have to still remain engaged in Krishna's service, finding other opportunities, and make sure that whatever you have, you utilize in Krishna's service. That way we can remain focused. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. Surananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks for another wonderful class, Prabhuji. Yeah, as other Prabhuji's covered, like the powers we received from Krishna, we have to utilize it in Krishna's service. That is the best use of it.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Bhageshwari Mataji.
Yeah, as other devotees said, Prabhuji, thank you so much. This class was kind of an eye opener for me. Like it's kind of a full refreshing. How whatever the blessings or the powers we get, how we have to keep engaging in the devotional service. I feel like in this chapter, it is somehow you have very structurally gone through it. And yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Lochana Harini Mataji, you still have your question remaining?
Yes, Prabhuji, second question.
Okay,
Is it okay if
go
I
ahead.
ask now?
Yeah.
Thank you. Prabhuji, I know this whole chapter is all about, Arjuna expressing his indebtedness to Krishna and how sad he's feeling. But there's one thing which is kind of coming to my mind, that he's saying Krishna is gone. Krishna is gone physically. Obviously, he can't see Krishna in person. But Krishna is Ajanma, right? He's not like a material body like you or me, that he's gone, like gone forever. Krishna is present. He's omnipresent. So why this much grief and bereavement from that perspective, Prabhuji? I'm struggling to understand that.
Yeah, we can't understand it, Mataji, because we haven't directly got Krishna's association. So yes, Krishna is everywhere, but we can only feel the pain of losing something which we have.
Yeah.
Because we never had direct association of Lord Shri Krishna. That is why we are not able to understand the grief of Arjuna. The grief of gopis, for example, is similar to what Arjuna is showing, right?
Yeah.
Because Arjuna is not going to have the loving association of Lord Shri Krishna directly. For example, a simple thing that we can understand is when our spiritual master, for example, comes here and gives some brief association to us in Wellington. Okay. And then he is here for a few days and then he's gone for some other places. So at that time, we are enjoying when the spiritual master is here, that we are having wonderful association, we are getting instructions, we are getting some service to do and everything. But once the spiritual master has gone to other place, then those other people are getting that opportunity to service. But for us, we are losing that opportunity at this point. There is a separation. Even though he's still here, we are losing that opportunity. So that personal association, the relationship that is there, that is what Arjuna is lamenting for. See, again, last time we were talking about Tattva and Leela. As a Tattva, we are confusing with Tattva and Leela, right? That as a Tattva, we know at the level of intelligence, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is everywhere and all of that. But is that going to please your heart from the perspective that you were having Krishna as your friend with whom you were you were able to loiter around, you were able to sleep, you were able to talk, you were able to joke around, you were able to have so much personal contact with him, and now that is gone. Now that Krishna available as Paramatma in your heart, is that going to give you that relationship? Unfortunately, no. Krishna, which is available as Brahma Jyoti around us, and every atom he is present, is that going to give us that relationship? No. So obviously, Arjuna is going to feel separation from Lord Shri Krishna when he has lost that connection.
Okay, Prabhuji, that makes sense. But still, can we still say that Krishna was gone? I mean, gone as in Krishna's like appearance is gone, but Krishna is still there, isn't it?
Yeah, Krishna is of course everywhere. Again, you are confusing the tattva, right? Tattva, from the tattva
Oh,
perspective,
Tattva. Okay, got it, Prabhuji.
Krishna
No,
is always
I got
there.
it.
Krishna
Sure,
is always there.
sure. But the
But
personal
his Leela
essence,
has finished.
sure.
His Leela on at that time
On
has been
planet.
finished. So
Yes.
just like sun rises and sun sets, Srila
Mhm.
Prabhupada gives that example.
Yeah.
So when sun rises, we don't say that sun is born. And when he sets, we don't say that sun is now dead.
It's gone. Yeah, true.
Yeah, it is just set and it is just gone out of our sight.
Sure.
It come into our sight. Similarly, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvata. Krishna says in the 4th chapter, 9th verse in Bhagavad Gita, that those who understands that my Janma and Karma, they are Divya. They are not materialistic. They
Yeah.
are spiritual. They are transcendental.
Mm-hmm.
Only those they can come to me. Those who understand it, they will come to me.
Sure.
So we need to understand that when Krishna goes, he had just finished his pastime. It is not that he had a material body like that, like us, and he is now dead,
Yeah, exactly.
and
That makes
his
sense.
soul has gone. No, he is
Of course.
inside out. He is spiritual. So if he wants, he can leave some material thing behind because finally it is material energy.
Yeah,
But he himself is not material.
sure. I'm in sync, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. That makes a
Huh?
lot of sense. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vishakha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, just quick realizations I would like to share. It's very difficult, Prabhuji, to actually think that we are not the doers and we are just the instruments. We have just heard all this, but in reality, we always take the ownership and we become entangled. So it's very hard to practice detachment and really be grateful. Whatever we are doing, it's just because Krishna has given us the empowerment and we are able to do. So we need continuous reminders. So thank you so much for that, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, very good point, Mataji. So as we were talking about Tattva and Leela, so finally we are talking about, at least in the beginning, we should understand it at the level of Tattva. So intellectually, we should try to understand that we are the instrument, we are the instruments, everything is power is by Krishna, and we have borrowed his power, and we should utilize in Krishna's service. But intellectually, this is only intellectual. In the heart, we are still thinking, I am the doer. When something happens, yes, I have done it. And I'm such a great person. Everyone is listening to me. Everyone is listening to my singing, kirtan, or when I'm doing pujari work, I'm the best, or when I'm doing such and such service, I'm the perfect person, and no one can do like me. Everyone is dependent. So many things can actually come to our mind at that time. But the repeated um hitting on our head by Srila Prabhupada, that he actually, every chance that he gets, he actually is trying to imbibe on us that, hey, you are not the doer. You are the instrument. Don't think that you are the doer. And that repeated things that we are hearing over a period of time, it will sink into our heart. It will only happen, like this knowledge will only get converted into realization when we do some services. And when we do some services together with some other realized devotees, only then we can see that, oh, this particular devotee is much better than me in this service. And he or she is thinking that I am not the doer and an instrument of Krishna, and I can see that from their example. Then who am I to say that I am the doer and I am better, I am the great person? And then that way we can somehow or the other get that realization. The tattva, or the knowledge which is in the head, will go into our heart. So slowly, that conversion will happen. But that will only happen through service. If we do not do service, tattva will remain tattva, or the intellectual knowledge. It will never turn into the realized knowledge. So very good point, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bharadwaj Rishi Prabhu. I see you are manifested twice, Prabhu, on this call.
Yes. I'm traveling at home on the laptop, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, first of all, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, my quick question is that, Arjuna's losing his potencies, is that Krishna actually has taken away his potencies, or is it actually Arjuna lost because of Krishna's disappearance?
No, it is not very clear here that what has happened. But Srila Prabhupada is actually very clear. He is saying that these potencies were taken away from him. Krishna has withdrawn his potencies. Krishna had bestowed him before, empowered him, and Krishna has withdrawn it. And the most important part he is saying that is because his mission is completed. Krishna's mission is completed. Arjuna's mission is completed now. And the remaining part of the mission, which is going back to Godhead, for that, these potencies are not required.
Okay.
So if Arjuna still required it, Krishna would have kept it for him. But because it was not required for him, it was taken away. And in a way, I am thinking that, again, this is speculative thinking, that because I have this speculative ability, I shouldn't be doing. So one way of thinking is that actually it may not be taken away. It is just visible to Arjuna that it is taken away. Because if Krishna has come in the form of the cowherd men, and then defeated Arjuna, in Arjuna's mind, he is thinking that the cowherd, some general bandits have come and they have defeated me. But in reality, it was Krishna who came and defeated him. So it is not actually his potency is taken away. He still has it. But it appears to Arjuna that it has been taken away. So irrespective of that, his pastime is over. Arjuna's pastime is over. That is what is being said. That he required his potency for a particular mission. He had his glory. It is done. And now he has been defeated. So in the history book, it will be written that Arjuna was defeated by some coward men. So, yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. That clarifies. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Is there any other questions, comments, reflections before we... Oh, Sannivas Prabhu. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Dandavat Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I also want to share one experience, Prabhuji.
Yes, please go ahead, Prabhu.
yeah, like what's happening in my life at the moment when I was seeing back to myself. So whenever I have to do all my duties as a family, everything was given by Krishna. And the time when it came that now I don't need that one, I want to go back, go to Vrindavan or anything. I can see that everything is going back. Even though I want to hold it, it's nothing standing with me. And I can realize it very nicely that yes, at the moment I don't need this one to be on there. Now I have to go. So in this way,
Yes.
it gives you a very clear. In that approach, we can take it much more easier. Yes, for my sadhana, I don't need this one. For my family, I had it. Now it's not needed. So in that way, I really can understand it, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing very systematically, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. From your life's example, you are showing to everyone how to live a life of a devotee and how to develop various different Vaishnava qualities in ourselves. So thank you for your association. And I'm hoping that even though you are going from here, sooner or later you come back here to Wellington. Thank you. I think we will pause here now today. And then we'll continue with the remaining verses in the next session. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.